All right, here we are, another edition of KSL Sports Front Page here at KSLSports.com. Well, I guess you're watching this via YouTube or our Facebook page for KSL Sports. I'm Sam Farnsworth with KSL Television, along with my producer, Zak Hicken, also with KSL Television. We are here to just kind of run through today's big headlines. And, you know, for a time or for a period, I guess, of slowness in the sports world, although it's been kind of picking up today, we've got a lot to talk about, and it's kind of fun, Zach, having a lot to talk about.
We were just talking about before we got on the air is there's a lot of news today. We got some basketball news. We got, I think, national college football news with the news about Reggie Bush. And then with all of that going on, I didn't even realize that the MLB draft was today.
Yeah, no kidding. It's ridiculous. And it's a new – I mean, you think about it. MLB hasn't even agreed to figure out what they're going to do with their season yet. They can agree to still have this draft with its new format of just 5 rounds compared to the 20 or whatever it was in the past. Just 5 rounds, and these guys that are going to get picked don't even know when they're going to be on the diamond. I mean, it's certainly not going to be this summer.
And yeah, they don't even know where they're going to be playing because there's a lot of minor league clubs that might cease to exist after this. So it'll be interesting, but I'm excited as we inch closer to sports. And we didn't even mention we have MLS. We have official word on what they're going to do for the tournament, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we do. Why don't we start there? We got that headline here at KSLSports.com as well. The MLS making that tournament official down in Orlando. Uh-oh.
Sorry, I was just closing a door real quick. But, yeah, I'm excited about that. And, yeah, in case you guys didn't know, Sam and I are both at work right now. So I'm excited for this tournament. Starting a few weeks before the NBA is coming back on July 31st. And then we're going to get the regular season, too, after this tournament. And I think that the way that soccer's doing it is really smart by having this tournament having ties to CONCACAF, and I'm excited to see how it's going to work out and what people are going to think. Excitement for the MLS heading into the regular season and into the playoffs and stuff. So I think that and a lot of people have talked about it, but there's such a hunger for sports right now that I think any sport that outside of like the NBA or NFL, where they're already some of the most popular sports, there are a lot of leagues that can capture a new audience for people who are kind of starved for a lack of sports right now.
Mm-hmm. And what I like about this, too, and I think the MLS is capitalizing here with their plan, they'll begin play on July 8th. That's before the NBA is beginning play again. So the MLS is kind of having their own stage for a little while to showcase what they're doing in this new format. I really like it. And this article at KSLSports.com will break it down for you, but they're basically doing group stages and then getting into knockout stages. It's kind of similar to a World Cup type format. And what I love about this is, in my opinion, I think the MLS could try to maybe figure out a way to incorporate a tournament like this mid-season every season. You see this in pro soccer leagues all over the world where you have your regular season schedule, I guess you could say, but then there's all these other offshoot tournaments and leagues that they play in as well. And I would love to see the MLS start incorporating more of that feel to it as well, to get a little more international feel to its game here in America. And I think this is a good maybe first step towards that direction even.
With that, and we do get a little bit of that, not quite to the same level as what they have in EuroLeague, but I think it's a step in the right direction, and it may help legitimize the view of like what the MLS is and what it can be, like what its potential is to soccer fans on a worldwide basis, rather than just appealing to fans in the United States.
So there it is. We've got all the MLS teams reporting to Orlando to begin tournament play on July 8th. That's going to be pretty cool. Our headline story at KSLSports.com is this one here of Quinn Snyder. He was a guest on ESPN earlier today. I can't remember the name of the show. It was First Take. That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And obviously he had a lot to talk about with Mitchell and Gobert.
I mean, I felt like for the first probably 3 weeks of the whole coronavirus thing, we had an update or something going on with what was going on between Donovan and Rudy, and a lot of speculation. I mean, there was at one point where we thought all bets were off, that one of them would, assuming it would be Rudy, one of them would be traded, just because of how high tensions were. But they were able to work things out, supposedly, and we'll see what happens now once they get back to playing, training together, and then having an opportunity to go down to Orlando and play together, if that might help patch things up. But I felt that there was a little bit of a rift beforehand, like before the whole coronavirus thing happened. That was like kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. Some of the body language that you saw on the bench between the two, the communication that they had on the court, you could tell that there was frustration from Rudy. It seemed like he didn't think that he was getting enough touches down low in the post, and then Donovan was frustrated because he thought Rudy was trying to take too many shots. And I think that the coronavirus situation, I think that they were trying to. I mean, we heard reports that they were spending a lot of time together in the locker room, traveling on the bus, on planes, and then. It seemed like all the good inroads that they were making, the coronavirus situation was just kind of like I said, the straw that broke the camel's back, and they were just it kind of let loose all those bad feelings that they had, and made the situation for the last couple months.
Yeah, but the bright side is we've heard from both of them in their own respective online social media interviews that they've done. They both say they're ready to move forward and play. And Quinn today mentioned similar thoughts as well, saying those guys are getting ready to play. They're as excited as anybody on our team or anybody in the league. So that's a good thing. And he did say that the Jazz are in good shape right now. So outside of Bojan Bogdanovic being injured, I think the Jazz are in decent shape, and they're just ready to play. And that's the good thing about having two professionals, two all-stars. They understand, you're not always going to see eye to eye with your teammates on everything or even with your coaches, but they know they need each other to win. And that's the important thing, is that they both realize that, they both understand that, and recognize that really their best shot at winning, whether it's this season or even in the future, is together. So they've got to be able to play their best game together.
For myself personally, like I was on watch to see if those two were liking each other's Instagram posts, and we did get that about 2 weeks ago. So I think that's safe to say that things are healing. So
ready to move on. Yeah. So here we go. Quinn Snyder had a lot of things outside of just the drama between them. He did talk about resuming the season in Orlando, talked about Donovan's star potential with the team, the leadership committee that Coach Snyder has become a part of as the NBA Coaches Association prepares to help the league move forward in becoming one with their players, with the league, and with the community, and in dealing with social injustices. And all of those topics, Ben Anderson was able to kind of break down and put into this article for you at KSLSports.com. It's our lead article of the day. So just click there, read it. It's definitely a good read, especially for Jazz fans right now who are gearing up for the return to basketball. Zach, here's one that I know gets us both excited a little bit here also. NCAA, they're taking their steps forward, because college football for a while there, it seemed like, are we even going to have college football? But it sounds like we're moving in the right direction to have college football.
I didn't think that there was any question that college football was going to be played this year. I understand, and I guess I should say, especially at the P5 level, I think that there's too much money at stake. I think that the conferences, the heads of the conferences, the presidents and athletic directors, and frankly the coaches, are too selfish to give up that pot that they're sitting on. And I understand that there are going to be there's going to be significantly less revenue. But if I mean, they're not the ones who are really. I mean, they're at risk, but not quite to the same level as some of these players who are going to be out on the field. But you know what? They're still the ones that get a profit off of it. And so, personally, I wasn't really too concerned, but I just know how the NCAA works, and but it is good to see that they are getting official plans to go back to an official approval, because it's progress that we're making, and it's something that, frankly, we're all looking for in the sports that we follow. You know, whether it's the MLB, NBA, or MLS. So, yeah, it's good news, and I'm excited for these guys to get back out on the field, and it's going to be a great way to distract us from everything that's going on.
Yeah, so Trevor Allen's article on here at KSLSports.com breaks it down, the whole 6-week plan, as well as what safety guidelines they will be implementing for this return to college football. A little bit further down, an article that stuck out to me a little bit that I'm sure, BYU fans, this might catch their attention too. BYU football considered a second-tier job among the group of 5 programs. Now, Mitch Harper, he put this together. No matter how great the history of BYU is, Adam Rittenberg tweeted it out. Part 2 of the college football coaching jobs tier is there, and they examined the group of 5, and they said not many made tier 1. They had BYU in tier 2 as far as those jobs go. What do you think, Zach?
I don't like it. Personally, I think BYU, based on their schedule, based on their revenue, their attendance, their history, they're far beyond any of these schools besides Boise State. Now, I know that UCF has had some recent success, but Cincinnati and Houston, no. Come on. Cincinnati and Houston aren't better job. I mean, I think Houston has some potential if they were to get their situation figured out right, but it's just it's like San Diego State and UNLV. They're in huge cities. They have a huge recruiting base that they can draw from, but they haven't really been able to capitalize on it. And I would put BYU in that first tier with Boise State, and then UCF just behind Boise State and BYU.
Yeah, we're talking about the group of 5 here. We're not talking about programs in the entire country. And so for me, and obviously this is just the opinion of one writer for ESPN, Adam Rittenberg, and his rankings and the formulas that he put together, but to put BYU in the second tier of the group of 5 behind some of those schools that you'd already mentioned, Boise State, Cincinnati, really, Houston, UCF. So, and I get it. Maybe the independence thing comes into play there a little bit, making it, obviously it makes it a little more difficult to achieve national success. But hey, I'm right there with you, Zach. I think, the BYU coaching job should be among the top tier of the group of 5. There's no doubt about it. So, but that's one of the great things about sports is that a lot of these topics are subject to everyone's opinion. So you can check out Mitch's article here at KSLSports.com. I posted the link in the chat here as well. And then decide for yourself what you think of BYU if they are a group of 5, top tier coaching job. So that's just some of the articles. We got a lot going on though today. Besides these articles, Zach, you mentioned some of it, the MLB draft. We're going to be talking about, the MLS. But you can read a lot of it here. Is there anything I'm missing today, Zach? I mean, I know we got a lot going on.
Couple of announcements for scheduling for Utah State and BYU basketball. Utah State is going to be playing Mississippi State, and I can't remember exactly what the name of that. It was a neutral site game. I don't know if it had a tie to a sponsor or anything, but it's down in Panama City at Gulf Coast Community College, December 21st. I believe it's the 4th time these two have played. And so all three meetings came between 2011 and 2014. And so I think that, I'm just excited for Utah State to get back out on the court. We've talked about this, Sam, you and I. The last great moment that we covered was that Mountain West tournament win. And I am excited to see the Aggies get back out on the court. Craig Smith, see what he can do without Sam Merrill, Abel Porter, that group of seniors that they had. They have a good foundation with Mimi Keita coming back, but and it looks like they've added a couple of really talented recruits. But I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do. And then BYU is playing in the Jerry Colangelo Classic. And I'm sure that those pieces are being taken care of right now. It's just not up on the website, but we'll have that on KSL 5 News at 6. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's a one-day quadruple header. Gonzaga is going to face Texas Tech, Arizona State, BYU, San Francisco, Grand Canyon, and Northern Arizona versus San Diego. So a whole bunch of teams with ties to the WCC and the West Coast going on there. I'm excited for that Arizona State BYU matchup. I like what Arizona State has done in the Pac-12 the last couple of years. I believe that they were on track to be a tournament team this last year. So it'll be fun to see. I think one thing that Mark Pope has done really well is that they've been able to get great schedules in the 2 years that he's obviously last year and then heading into this season. They've been able to get some really good preseason opponents and get themselves ready before they head into conference play.
Yep, no doubt. So a lot to look forward to. Yeah, that was kind of the abrupt halt to our sports world. It was right on the heels of college basketball, right when it was about to have its shining moment in the tournament. So it's nice to see some of these future matchups being laid out. So there you go. Those are some of our top headlines today at KSLSports.com. Alex Curie in the house. He's playing it safe. He's doing it right. He's got the mask on, keeping his distance. Back up, Alex. Come on. But there we go. Just make sure you check KSLSports.com every day. There's always a lot of new content coming every single day, whether it's articles, podcasts, or video. It's all there. And that's why it's becoming the best sports site in the state. There's no doubt. Zach, thanks for joining. And thanks to all of our viewers for joining.